Welcome back to our channel World of Coins, the place where we uncover hidden treasures in your coin collection. Have you ever wondered if that old coins could be worth thousands or even millions? Well, today's your lucky day. We're diving into some of the rarest and most valuable US coins that might be sitting right under your nose. Let's jump in and see if you've got a fortune waiting to be discovered. Top 1. In the world of rare coins, there are certain pieces that defy expectation, coins that appear ordinary, even worn, yet hold an extraordinary secret. One such coin is the 1967 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin might seem like nothing more than a well-used piece of pocket change, a coin tossed casually into piggy banks and vending machines for generations. But within the edges of some 1967 quarters lies a value so astonishing, it can leave collectors speechless. This unassuming silver-toned coin has captured the attention of numismatists around the world, and its story is as surprising as it is thrilling. The 1967 Washington quarter came at a time of transition in U.S. coinage. Just 2 years earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint had removed silver from circulating quarters due to the rising cost of silver bullion. From that point on, quarters were struck using a clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel. The 1967 quarter was one of these new clad coins, marking a definitive break from the silver era. Yet, despite its ordinary metal, this coin would go on to become one of the most watched and collected quarters of its generation. What adds to the intrigue is that 1,967 quarters were produced in enormous quantities, over 1.5 billion of them. With so many minted, it would seem unlikely that any single one could be worth more than $1, let alone a small fortune. But that's exactly what happened in some cases. Minting anomalies, striking errors, and extraordinary preservation have turned a few 1967 quarters into jaw-dropping treasures. One of the most desirable characteristics in the rarest 1967 quarters is a full strike with razor-sharp detail, which was hard to come by due to the rushed and high-volume production. Quarters from this year were often struck with worn dies, leading to softer details and less defined features. So when a 1967 quarter appears with crisp edges, bold lettering, and a fully defined eagle on the reverse, collectors take notice. These high-grade examples, especially those graded MS-68 or above, are incredibly rare and command premium prices at auction. Even more enticing are the error coins, those struck off-center, with double die images, or on the wrong plancha. A small number of 1,967 quarters were mistakenly struck on leftover silver planchets from earlier years. These coins contain actual silver, making them stand out not just by composition, but by their heavier weight and distinct sound when dropped. Identifying such a piece is like finding a time traveler from the Silver Age in the modern world. Another anomaly is the double die obverse, a rare error that causes the details on the front of the coin, like Washington's profile, the date, or the motto, "In God We Trust," to appear doubled or blurred. These coins are extremely collectible, especially when the doubling is dramatic and visible without magnification. For collectors, discovering a double die 1967 quarter is the equivalent of unearthing a buried treasure. Then there are quarters with planchet defects, errors that occurred before the coin was even struck. Some feature laminations, cracks, or missing layers, revealing the copper core in irregular patterns. These visually striking errors are not only rare, but they turn every coin into a one-of-a-kind specimen. They're a collector's dream, a mistake frozen in time. Despite the high production number, very few 1967 quarters have survived in pristine condition. Most entered circulation immediately and suffered the wear and tear of daily use. That's why high-grade examples, those that look just as perfect today as they did the day they were minted, are worth so much. Their sharp luster and untouched surfaces make them museum-worthy pieces. Beyond rarity and errors, the 1967 quarter holds historical weight. It was produced during a turbulent era in American history, a time marked by the Vietnam War, civil rights movements, and major shifts in cultural and political identity. Holding one of these coins feels like holding a piece of the past, a symbol of the nation's endurance during a defining chapter of its story. The lack of a mint mark on all 1967 quarters adds another twist. To prevent coin hoarding, the U.S. Mint temporarily removed mint marks during the mid-60s. That means we don't know where any individual coin was struck, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, adding a layer of mystery to each quarter. It makes the hunt even more exciting, since we're left to focus entirely on the condition, weight, and strike. Coin collectors know that value often lies in the details. A minor variation, a soft shadow of doubling, or a slight off-center strike can transform a pocket coin into a numismatic superstar. The 1967 quarter exemplifies this better than almost any other coin from the 1960s. You never know what you're holding until you take a closer look. Stories have surfaced over the years of collectors finding 1967 quarters in coin rolls, thrift store tills, or old jars, coins that turned out to be error-struck, high-grade, or silver-based examples. These discoveries fuel the passion of thousands of coin hunters, each hoping their next quarter could be the one. Online marketplaces, auction houses, and coin shows have become the battlegrounds where the rarest 1,967 quarters change hands. The bidding is intense, the competition fierce. It's not just about the money, it's about the pride of owning something so unique, so full of history and mystery, that its value transcends the coin itself. The appeal of the 1967 quarter extends beyond hardcore collectors. Investors, historians, and even casual hobbyists are all drawn to this coin because of its surprising potential. It proves that even in the world of modern clad coins, there are still hidden legends waiting to be found. Parents and grandparents are now passing these coins down to younger generations, wrapped not just in protective sleeves, but in stories of how they were found, what makes them special, and why they matter. This passing of knowledge and curiosity ensures that the legacy of the 1967 quarter will continue to grow. Each time someone flips a quarter into a fountain, leaves one on a table, or receives one in change, there's a tiny chance that they've just touched a piece of hidden history. It's that possibility, that thrilling unknown, that keeps collectors searching and dreaming. Among all the examples that have surfaced, there is one 1967 Washington quarter that stands above the rest. A coin preserved in mint state perfection, with a dramatic double die and flawless surfaces. This single quarter, a masterpiece of error and preservation, stunned the numismatic world when it was brought to auction. The final selling price of that legendary coin was $138,000. Top 2. In the ever-evolving landscape of American coin collecting, some coins slip quietly through the fingers of millions for decades before suddenly capturing the attention of the entire numismatic world. One such sleeper is the 1971 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that many people have likely handled without ever realizing the silent fortune it could hold. While to most it appears like just another silver-toned piece of change, certain rare examples of the 1971 quarter have become incredibly valuable, making headlines and thrilling collectors with stories of unexpected discovery. The 1971 Washington quarter was minted in a post-silver era. By that time, the U.S. Mint had transitioned to clad coinage, a layered combination of copper and nickel that replaced the traditional 90% silver alloy used in earlier decades. Millions of these quarters were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But as with many mass-produced coins, not all were created equal. Some 1,971 quarters carry errors, anomalies, or remarkably well-preserved surfaces that now place them in a completely different category from the average pocket change. The obverse of the coin features the familiar and time-honored portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan in 1932. His profile is stoic, dignified, and sharply defined, when the die is fresh and the strike is clean. But it's the little details on this side, like the clarity of liberty, the sharpness of Washington's hair, or subtle doubling around the lettering, that can separate a valuable coin from an ordinary one. The reverse, with its heraldic eagle spread proudly across the olive branches, is no less impressive when struck with full detail and perfect alignment. What makes the 1971 quarter particularly captivating is its blend of high mintage and high mystery. With more than 258 million quarters minted in Philadelphia and over 258 million in Denver, the coin was everywhere. And yet, within that ocean of circulation, only a few exceptional specimens exist that have been preserved so well, or struck so strangely, that they now fetch stunning prices from collectors willing to pay a premium for perfection or peculiarity. Among the most thrilling finds in the world of 1971 quarters are those struck on silver planchets. An error caused when a leftover silver blank from previous years accidentally found its way into the production line. These coins are slightly heavier, have a distinct sound when dropped, and reveal a different tone and luster under careful inspection. Discovering a silver 1971 quarter in the wild is like stumbling upon buried treasure. Another highly sought-after anomaly is the double die obverse. This type of error occurs when the coin is struck twice with a slight misalignment, leading to doubled features in the date, inscriptions, or even parts of Washington's profile. These errors are subtle but highly prized by collectors, especially when visible to the naked eye. They create a visual echo that transforms a standard coin into a rare artifact of minting history. Off-center strikes are yet another category of interest. When the coin blank is improperly positioned, part of the design may be missing or oddly shifted. The further off-center the strike, the more dramatic, and often more valuable, the coin becomes, especially if the date is still fully visible. These mistakes, though unintended, offer a unique glimpse into the mechanical process behind every U.S. coin. Of course, condition is everything in coin collecting. A 1971 quarter that has seen decades of circulation will likely fetch only face value. But one that has been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, possibly stored untouched in a mint roll or collection, can command huge premiums. Coins graded MS-67 or higher, those with no visible scratches, perfect edges, and brilliant luster, are exceedingly rare from this era and highly sought after. The hunt for the perfect 1971 quarter has led collectors to roll searching, estate sales, auctions, and even checking their spare change at gas stations. It's this sense of possibility, the chance that a forgotten coin might be worth a small fortune, that continues to drive enthusiasm and excitement around the hobby. The thrill isn't just in owning a valuable coin, it's in the discovery. Coin shows and online auction platforms have increasingly become hotbeds for these rare 1971 quarters, with collectors and investors paying close attention to new listings and unexpected finds. The moment a rare error or high-grade piece appears, it sets off a flurry of bidding that pushes values to incredible levels. It's proof that even in modern coinage, there are still remarkable surprises to be found. The appeal of the 1971 quarter also lies in its timing. Minted at the start of a new decade, the coin reflects the economic, cultural, and technological shifts happening in America at the time. From the last echoes of the 1960s counterculture to the space-age optimism of the early 70s, this coin was present in the pockets of an evolving nation. Collectors often talk about coins not just as currency, but as time travelers, pieces that carry the touch of countless hands and the silent stories of their journeys. A 1971 quarter might have been used to buy a movie ticket, a soda, or a bus ride across the country. Now, it might be sitting in a coin slab, valued beyond imagination, admired for its history, its detail, and its sheer rarity. The 1971 quarter has taught collectors to look twice. It's a reminder that even coins from the modern age can hold enormous value under the right conditions. The combination of minting errors, accidental silver planchets, and flawless uncirculated examples has elevated this coin to the status of legend among numismatists. Stories have emerged of lucky collectors finding rare 1971 quarters in old collections or inherited rolls that had never been searched. The most thrilling finds often come when least expected, while sorting through change jars, attending estate auctions, or checking inherited coin albums long thought to hold only common pieces. Even more exciting is the fact that these rare coins are not just relics for museums, they're out there, in drawers, jars, and circulation. The next great 1971 quarter discovery could be waiting at the bottom of a cash register, hidden in a car's cup holder, or tucked away in a family's forgotten coin stash. As more collectors enter the world of numismatics, the popularity of Washington quarters continues to soar. And with it, coins like the 1971 quarter are gaining recognition for their hidden value and historical relevance. From seasoned experts to eager beginners, everyone wants to get their hands on a 1971 gem, and in the center of this growing interest stands one incredible coin, flawlessly preserved, boasting a rare double die obverse and a pristine strike that left collectors stunned. This magnificent quarter, now protected and showcased in a top-tier coin slab, shocked the auction world with its final sale. The hammer dropped, and the crowd fell silent. That extraordinary 1971 Washington quarter sold for $117,000. Top 3. The world of coin collecting is full of unexpected treasures, and sometimes, a coin that seems completely ordinary can turn out to be a hidden masterpiece worth a life-changing amount of money. Among those unassuming but astonishing coins is the 1972 Washington quarter dollar from the United States of America. Though minted in the millions and passed through countless hands over the decades, a select few of these coins have emerged as stars in the world of numismatics. What makes them so special? It's not just their age or design, it's the unique combination of rarity, condition, and eye-catching errors that have turned a pocket change item into a six-figure collectible. The 1972 Washington quarter comes from an era of great transition. The coin was minted during a time when the U.S. Mint had fully adopted the copper-nickel-clad composition, abandoning the 90% silver alloy of previous decades. With over 300 million quarters struck that year, it might seem unlikely that any individual coin would stand out. Yet, some 1972 quarters have done exactly that, dazzling collectors with minting oddities, superb preservation, and even mysterious planchet anomalies. The design of the quarter remained unchanged from the original 1932 portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan. The obverse features the nation's first president facing left, with the word "Liberty" proudly arching above and the phrase, "In God We Trust," nestled beside his chin. The date, 1972, anchors the bottom of the coin, grounding its place in American history. Though the design is familiar, it's in the details, how sharp, clean, and perfectly aligned they are, that the real magic begins to show. On the reverse side, we see the American eagle, wings wide open, perched over a bundle of arrows and framed by olive branches. This symbol of peace and strength has long been a favorite among collectors, and when struck with precision and depth, it truly captures the artistry of American coinage. But not every 1972 quarter was struck equally. Some received full, bold impressions on both sides, resulting in what is known in numismatic circles as full-strike coins. These are highly desirable because of their sharp details and attractive luster. Beyond beauty and condition, what really sparks collector frenzy are the rare mint errors that occurred during production. Among the most thrilling are the off-center strikes, when the coin blank is not properly aligned, causing part of the design to be cut off. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, and whether the date remains fully visible, these can be incredibly valuable. A 1972 quarter struck even slightly off-center can attract serious attention from error collectors. Then there are the rare double-die quarters from 1972, where the design was accidentally struck twice in slightly misaligned positions. This creates a ghostly doubling effect in the date, lettering, or even Washington's facial features. Such coins are extremely rare and can often go unnoticed by the untrained eye, but to a collector, they are the equivalent of gold dust, scarce, striking, and worth a fortune. Another type of error that fascinates collectors involves the wrong planchet, when a coin is mistakenly struck on a blank intended for a different denomination or metal. Imagine a quarter struck on a penny planchet or foreign coin blank. Such finds are exceptionally rare and often result in eye-popping auction prices. It's this unpredictability that keeps the hobby so exciting and alive. One of the secrets to high value lies in condition. Coins that have never entered circulation, known as mint state coins, carry the greatest potential. A 1972 Washington quarter in MS-67 or higher is astonishingly rare. These coins display no signs of wear, have flawless surfaces, and reflect light with a brilliant, original shine. Even the tiniest blemish can affect value, so to find one in perfect condition is like discovering a lost relic. Over the years, collectors and treasure hunters alike have scoured coin rolls, change jars, and inherited collections in search of these rare 1972 quarters. It's a reminder that incredible value can be hiding in plain sight, on your dresser, in your wallet, or tucked away in a forgotten shoebox. Some of the most valuable discoveries have come from unexpected places, uncovered by beginners who simply took the time to look closely. The fascination with Washington quarters has only grown with time, especially as older coins like the 1972 version become harder to find in top condition. Each one tells a story, not only of the man whose face it bears but of the nation that carried it through gas stations, diners, and department stores. Every scratch, every shimmer of luster, adds to the mystery and charm. Collectors are drawn not only by the thrill of the hunt but by the artistry and history each coin represents. The 1972 quarter is more than just currency, it's a living piece of America's past, a token of a year filled with political tension, cultural change, and economic evolution. When you hold such a coin, you hold a fragment of history. Even though millions of these coins were produced, time has thinned their ranks. Wear, corrosion, and mishandling have erased many potential treasures. That's why surviving specimens in excellent condition, and especially those with rare errors, are so prized today. It's a numbers game, and the odds are steep, which makes finding a gem all the more rewarding. The Washington Quarter series has always been a favorite among collectors due to its long history and consistent design. But the 1972 quarter stands out not for what's obvious, but for what hides beneath the surface. Its value isn't in its face, 25 cents, but in its story, its uniqueness, and its connection to the heart of American history. There's something magical about turning a coin over in your hand, noticing the fine details, and realizing you might be holding something extraordinary. That excitement is what keeps collectors motivated and keeps the legacy of coins like the 1972 quarter alive. It turns an everyday object into a doorway to possibility. Each coin has a destiny, and some were clearly meant for greatness. Whether it's the accidental artistry of a double die, the drama of an off-center strike, or the untouched brilliance of a mint-state specimen, these rarities are the heartbeat of numismatics. They speak to the unpredictability of production and the perfection that occasionally slips through, and so, one particular 1972 Washington quarter emerged from the shadows, a coin with exceptional luster, a flawless surface, and a rare outburst doubling that left collectors stunned. When it came to auction, the bids surged quickly, and jaws dropped as the final price was announced. This small but mighty coin changed hands for the incredible sum of $114,000. Top 4. In the mysterious and fascinating world of rare coins, sometimes the most unsuspecting pieces turn out to be worth an absolute fortune. Among these glittering surprises is the 1973 Washington quarter dollar from the United States of America. At first glance, it looks like any regular coin that might have passed through your hands at a gas station or dropped into a vending machine. But dig deeper, and you'll discover a coin that could be the key to a small fortune, if you're lucky enough to find the right one. That the 1973 quarter was struck at a time when the U.S. Mint had already transitioned away from silver. This coin, like others produced after 1965, was minted using a copper-nickel clad composition. It doesn't contain precious metal content like its older silver siblings, but what it lacks in metal, it makes up for in rarity, mystery, and fascinating mint errors that turn this common coin into something truly remarkable. George Washington's proud profile dominates the obverse side, as it had since 1932. His sharp gaze and classic features are instantly recognizable to anyone in America. The word liberty arches above his head, while in God we trust stands firm to the left, and the date, 1973, is placed neatly at the bottom. This familiar image has stood the test of time and serves as a national symbol of strength and heritage. But among the millions minted, only a select few stand out. Collectors pay close attention to the condition of these coins, and 1973 was a year where several unusually well-preserved examples were struck. A perfect 1973 quarter, known as a mint state specimen, shows off every fine detail, from Washington's powdered wig to the texture of his cheek, with sharpness and brilliance. These coins avoided the abuse of circulation and have become numismatic gems sought after by serious collectors. Then there are the coins with extraordinary mistakes, those rare mint errors that create instant value. Imagine a quarter struck off-center, where the entire design is shifted dramatically to one side. This kind of error transforms a simple coin into an eye-catching conversation piece. When paired with a fully visible date, such errors can skyrocket in value because of their uniqueness. Other known errors from 1973 include double die obverse and reverse coins. These happen when the die imprints the design twice, slightly misaligned, creating a ghost-like doubling effect. This subtle but fascinating flaw can often be seen in the date, lettering, or even the facial features of Washington himself. For collectors, double die errors are the crown jewels. They represent mistakes that slipped past the mint's tight quality control and made it into the wild. Another rare and thrilling anomaly is the 1973 quarter struck on the wrong planchet. These are coins accidentally struck on metal blanks intended for other denominations. For example, a quarter minted on a dime planchet would be smaller and lighter, with parts of the design cut off. These mismatched coins are incredibly rare and fetch huge prices when discovered. On the reverse side of the coin sits the majestic eagle, wings spread proudly as it grips a bundle of arrows. This symbol of American power and protection is framed by olive branches of peace, a balance that reflects the ideals of the country itself. When the reverse is deeply struck and crisp in detail, collectors often take notice, especially if it accompanies a rare error on the obverse. In the world of grading, even small changes in quality can lead to big shifts in value. A 1973 quarter graded MS-67 or higher is almost unheard of, and if you hold one, you're holding a top-tier piece of American coin history. These coins sparkle under light, with mirror-like surfaces and zero signs of wear or handling. They are rare because they were never spent, never tossed in a coin jar, and never jingled in someone's pocket. Sometimes, these high-grade or error coins go unnoticed for years. They sit in collections, coin rolls, or dresser drawers, quietly waiting to be discovered. When they do surface, they often stun the collecting world. That's the beauty of coin collecting. There's always a chance that you might be holding something incredible without even realizing it. People from all walks of life have found fortune simply by paying attention. Some lucky individuals have found ultra-rare coins in loose change, inherited coin jars, or old family albums. A simple 1973 quarter, forgotten for decades, can suddenly reappear and spark a bidding war among collectors who know just how rare that coin really is. Collectors aren't just chasing metal, they're chasing stories, history, and mystery. Every coin has a journey. Where has it been? Whose hands has it passed through? And what makes this particular 1973 quarter so special? Sometimes the answer lies in what the eye doesn't immediately see. That's why careful inspection, patience, and knowledge are key in the world of numismatics. The 1973 Washington quarter may not be made of silver or gold, but it still glows with the richness of historical significance. It represents a moment in time, an era of change, of political tension, of cultural shifts. And yet, through all that, this humble piece of metal endured and carried with it the possibility of tremendous value. The thrill of collecting coins is that there's always more to discover. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned expert, the next coin you examine might be the one that changes your life. It only takes one rare piece, one minting mistake, or one flawless strike to turn a pocket-sized coin into a headline-grabbing treasure. That it's important to have your coins checked by professional graders and trusted numismatic experts. They'll be able to verify authenticity, identify rare errors, and assign a grade that directly impacts the coin's market value. When a rare coin receives a top grade, it often heads to auction, and that's when the magic happens. Over the years, we've seen coins like the 1973 Washington quarter break records and set new standards for what collectors are willing to pay. The buzz around certain specimens grows rapidly, especially when rumors of rare errors or unusually high grades begin to circulate. Demand builds, and prices rise to astonishing heights, and in one unforgettable case, a stunning 1973 quarter, boasting a rare double die obverse and preserved in pristine mid-state, caught the attention of elite collectors. When the hammer dropped at a major numismatic auction, gasps filled the room. The final sale price? An astonishing $111,000. Top 5. In the captivating world of coin collecting, the most fascinating treasures are often hidden in plain sight. The 1977 Washington quarter dollar is one such coin, often overlooked by the casual observer but holding secrets that can astonish even seasoned collectors. At first glance, This coin may look like any other that jingles in pockets or gets passed across counters. But beneath its common appearance lies a chance at remarkable value, historical charm, and rare minting anomalies that can make it a true collector's prize. The year 1977 was a period of transition in the United States. Pop culture was booming, economic shifts were underway, and the country was evolving rapidly. Amid this backdrop, millions of Washington quarters were minted, continuing a design tradition that began in 1932. These quarters featured the noble profile of George Washington, facing left with the word "Liberty" arching above him and the national motto, "In God We Trust," positioned to his left. The date, 1977, rested confidently beneath his image, marking not just a year, but a frozen moment in American history, produced primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The 1977 Washington quarter was struck using a copper-nickel-clad composition. The days of silver quarters were long past, but the absence of precious metal didn't mean the end of value. In fact, some of the most prized quarters ever found don't contain silver at all. They contain history, mystery, and rare errors that transform them into extraordinary collectibles. Most quarters from 1977 were circulated, tossed into registers, dropped into payphones, and passed through generations. That makes high-quality, mint-state examples incredibly scarce today. A quarter that has survived nearly half a century without a single scratch or blemish becomes a rare and valuable survivor. These coins, often graded by professional services as MS-67 or higher, are radiant, showcasing every detail in crystal clarity, from Washington's powdered hair to the fine texturing on the eagle's feathers on the reverse. Speaking of the reverse, the eagle in flight, clutching arrows in its talons, represents strength and readiness, a powerful symbol of the United States. Surrounded by olive branches that signify peace, the balance of power and diplomacy shines through in the coin's design. But even this iconic image can reveal quirks, misalignments, and striking errors that increase a coin's desirability tenfold. Among the most sought-after variations are error coins. These are coins that were misstruck during production, creating fascinating, one-of-a-kind specimens. Some 1977 quarters display off-center strikes, where the coin's design is skewed dramatically to one side. Others might show die cracks or cuts, where breaks in the die cause raised blobs or missing areas in the final strike. These minting mistakes are rare and command serious attention, and big prices, among collectors. Then there are the legendary double die errors. These occur when the coin is struck with a die that has a doubled image, creating a shadow-like effect on letters or numbers. If a 1977 quarter shows clear doubling on the word "Liberty" or on Washington's eye or date, it can soar in value instantly. These double die quarters are few and far between, making them absolute treasures when discovered. Another captivating rarity comes in the form of wrong planchet errors. Imagine a 1977 quarter struck on a planchet meant for a foreign coin or a different denomination like a dime. These errors often go unnoticed at the mint but become prized trophies in collector circles once identified. They not only hold numismatic value but tell an incredible story of how something so small slipped through the cracks. Condition is everything in the coin world. A coin in poor condition might fetch a few dollars, but the same coin in flawless condition can be worth thousands. Collectors and grading agencies assess coins on a 70-point scale, and coins that score above 65 are considered gems. The rarer the grade, the higher the price, and the more attention a coin draws at auctions and among high-end collectors. The thrill of finding such a coin keeps the hobby alive for millions. From dusty basements to inherited coin jars, these rare finds can turn everyday people into lucky discoverers. You never truly know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight, waiting to change your life with one simple discovery. Sometimes, it's the untouched coins, those that were set aside unknowingly, stored in envelopes, or preserved in albums, that end up holding the most value. These uncirculated examples retain their mint luster and original beauty, offering a direct link to the time they were struck. Owning one feels like owning a piece of history that skipped time itself. The 1977 quarter is more than metal. It is a conversation starter, a tangible connection to America's past, and a fascinating artifact that has passed through decades of stories. It may have lived in someone's wallet during the Carter administration or landed in a child's piggy bank the day Star Wars premiered. Each quarter carries with it an untold journey. Even modern collectors are beginning to recognize the value of late 20th century coins like the 1977 quarter. As the years pass and pristine examples disappear, the coins that survive with clarity and rarity become even more precious. Their value doesn't just lie in the metal, it lies in the preservation of history, craftsmanship, and a time when each coin was a tiny work of art that if you suspect you have a valuable 1977 quarter, getting it authenticated and graded is your next step. Professional grading not only confirms authenticity but also increases market trust when it's time to sell. Coins that are certified by reputable grading companies often perform better at auction, with some fetching prices far beyond expectations. The numismatic community thrives on discovery, excitement, and shared passion. Stories of surprise finds and jaw-dropping sales continue to inspire new collectors every day. It's a reminder that hidden fortunes are still out there, just waiting to be uncovered. The key is knowledge, attention to detail, and maybe a little bit of luck, and in one such electrifying discovery, a remarkably preserved 1977 Washington quarter was found to feature a dramatic mint error, a bold double die on the obverse with complete doubling visible in the date and letters. When it was submitted for grading, it stunned experts by receiving a near-perfect score, making it one of the rarest of its kind ever documented. The coin eventually reached the auction block, drawing the attention of elite collectors from around the country. After an intense round of bidding, this spectacular 1977 quarter sold for an astonishing $101,000. Top 6. In the fascinating universe of American coinage, few coins have stirred curiosity and excitement quite like the Washington quarter. Among these, the 1983 Washington quarter dollar stands out, not because it was made of silver or gold, but because it was struck during a unique and transitional period in U.S. mint history, a time when rarity was accidentally created, and value emerged not through design alone but through survival. At first glance, the 1983 quarter appears ordinary. It showcases the familiar and dignified profile of George Washington on the obverse, accompanied by the words, "Liberty," the motto, "In God We Trust," and the date, 1983. Flip it over, and you see the powerful heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows, and perched above two olive branches, a bold representation of American strength and peace. But the real story lies not in what the eye sees, but in the details that only collectors and experts appreciate. To truly understand why the 1983 Washington quarter is so special, we need to step back into the early 1980s. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made a bold decision to stop producing uncirculated mint sets due to budget constraints. This decision was carried over into 1983 as well. As a result, collectors had no access to pristine, uncirculated examples of coins from these years unless they were pulled directly from circulation at the time, something that few people thought to do. That single decision made the 1983 quarter one of the most difficult modern coins to find in truly uncirculated condition. While millions were minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, nearly all of them entered circulation immediately and were subjected to the usual wear and tear of daily use. Coins from that year were tossed into vending machines, dropped on sidewalks, and clinked together in pockets, making high-grade examples incredibly rare. Adding to its intrigue is the fact that the Philadelphia minted 1983 quarter carries no mint mark. This subtle detail sometimes confuses new collectors but adds a layer of mystery to the coin's origin. Unlike today, when coins are routinely saved fresh from the mint, hardly anyone in 1983 realized that this year's quarter would someday become a prized treasure in numismatic circles. But it's not just the scarcity of mint state coins that makes this quarter special. Some 1983 quarters have been discovered with striking errors, unusual mistakes made during the minting process. From off-center strikes to double dies and missing clad layers, these flawed coins were unintentionally created, and they now fetch premium prices from collectors eager to own a piece of minting history gone slightly wrong. One of the most well-known errors associated with the 1983 quarter is the "spitting eagle" variety. This nickname was given to a coin that shows a small die crack extending from the eagle's beak, giving the illusion that it is spitting. Though it may sound humorous, this minor detail has made a major impact among collectors, especially when found on well-preserved coins. The Spitting Eagle variety is now one of the most sought-after die varieties in the entire Washington Quarter series. Collectors and experts pay close attention to luster, strike, and surface preservation when evaluating 1983 quarters. A coin that escaped the harshness of circulation and retained its original mint shine is exceedingly rare. In fact, it's estimated that less than a fraction of a percent of all 1983 quarters remain in high mint state condition today, which explains their soaring market value. Many collectors, in pursuit of the perfect 1983 quarter, have searched countless coin rolls, combed through decades-old jars, and scoured flea markets and estate sales. The chase is often difficult but thrilling, and when one of these rare beauties is found, it feels like striking gold. The passion surrounding this coin continues to grow as more people become aware of its hidden value. Interestingly, there have been auctions where stunning examples of the 1983 quarter have commanded prices that no one would have imagined for a coin once worth 25 cents. The rarity of the coin in top condition, combined with any mint error or die variety, can push its value into the thousands, sometimes tens of thousands. A flawless 1983 quarter that exhibits strong detail, full luster, and sharp strike with no signs of wear becomes a numismatic gem. Certified grading by professional services such as PCGS or NGC often reveals just how rare these coins are at the highest grade levels, with some receiving MS-67 or even MS-68, grades that place them among the best in existence. It's worth noting that coins struck at the Denver Mint bear a small D mint mark, while those from Philadelphia do not have one. Both versions are collected with intensity, though the Philadelphia coins often receive more attention due to their relatively lower survival rate in mint condition. For collectors who crave the thrill of finding a diamond in the rough, the 1983 Washington Quarter offers the perfect challenge. With enough patience and a little bit of luck, an everyday pocket coin can become an extraordinary discovery worth thousands. The key is knowing what to look for and understanding the market value of what might be hiding in plain sight. Parents have passed these quarters unknowingly to their children as lunch money. Shopkeepers gave them away as change. And yet, a few of these coins, almost magically, escaped the fate of being spent and forgotten, instead surviving the decades as glittering relics of a moment in minting history that almost slipped away unnoticed. Each 1983 quarter tells a silent story. Some of them jingled through the 1980s, others slept quietly in drawers, and a few lucky ones found their way into the hands of collectors who immediately recognized their potential. And those stories, silent though they may be, continue to echo through every auction, every collector's album, and every hopeful glance into a pocketful of change. This story took an incredible turn when one remarkably well-preserved 1983 Washington Quarter, showing both exceptional condition and a rare minting flaw, was sold at a high-profile coin auction. Experts were amazed at its brilliance, collectors were stunned by its rarity, and bidding reached a fever pitch. That single quarter, struck in a year when almost no coins were saved, and carrying the weight of a quiet revolution in numismatics, was finally sold for a jaw-dropping total of $72,000. Top 7. In the ever-evolving world of American coin collecting, there are stories that often go unnoticed until they suddenly shine in the spotlight, and the 1994 Washington Quarter Dollar is one such story. To the untrained eye, it may seem like just another piece of pocket change, but to a passionate numismatist, this coin holds a tale of rarity, mystery, and unexpected value that has thrilled collectors across the nation. The Washington Quarter design, first introduced in 1932, has remained an iconic staple in U.S. currency. Its familiar image of George Washington on the obverse has become a comforting, recognizable face in everyday transactions. Yet beneath the surface of this otherwise common coin lies a hidden world of variations, errors, and quality strikes that can drastically affect a coin's worth, and the 1994 quarter is a shining example of that hidden potential. Struck during a decade when coin production was transitioning with new technologies and increased precision, the 1994 Washington quarter still managed to produce a number of anomalies that slipped past inspection and into circulation. These rare examples, unnoticed by most people, have now become the objects of intense desire in the coin collecting community. What makes the 1994 quarter particularly interesting is the combination of modern minting techniques with the unpredictability of die wear and machinery inconsistencies. While billions of coins were produced that year across the Philadelphia and Denver mints, only a very small number emerged with flaws or characteristics that would later drive collectors wild. Some of the most valuable 1994 quarters display die breaks, off-center strikes, double dies, and even missing clad layers. These errors aren't easy to spot unless you know what to look for, and many of them only reveal their secrets under magnification. But once discovered, these flawed quarters can become prized possessions worth thousands of dollars. For example, the double die outverse error, where parts of the date, letters, or even Washington's profile appear double due to a misalignment during the die creation process, can transform an ordinary coin into a rare treasure. These visual duplications, though subtle, have been confirmed on select 1994 quarters, and they are fiercely pursued by serious collectors. Then there's the elusive missing clad layer error, which exposes the copper core of the coin on one or both sides. This error gives the coin a distinct reddish tint and a lighter weight. Such coins are incredibly rare and always attract high bids at auctions, especially when authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. In addition to errors, condition plays a major role in determining the value of a 1994 quarter. Coins that have survived the past 3 decades without being scratched, worn, or stained are very difficult to come by. High-grade examples in mint state, especially MS-67 and above, are considered numismatic jewels, often fetching hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on demand. Even coins that were never spent and kept safely away from circulation, if they boast a sharp strike, original luster, and no contact marks, can become highly valuable. Some of the most extraordinary specimens are those struck on planchets meant for other denominations, such as nickels or dimes. These rare minting mistakes can lead to coins that weigh less, appear slightly smaller, or have misaligned images, all of which are extremely valuable to collectors. What continues to surprise the coin world is that so many of these rare 1994 quarters have been found in everyday places, tucked inside forgotten coin jars, resting quietly in desk drawers, or mixed in with pocket change. It's this potential to discover treasure in the most mundane places that fuels the passion of every coin hunter. Families have unknowingly passed down valuable quarters to the next generation, and some lucky individuals have spotted strange-looking 1994 quarters at garage sales or flea markets. With just a bit of knowledge and attention to detail, what seemed like a simple coin can turn into a life-changing discovery. In recent years, the value of rare 1994 quarters has skyrocketed, driven by a growing community of collectors and the rise of online auctions. Social media platforms and YouTube channels dedicated to coin collecting have shed light on these modern rarities, bringing new energy to the hobby and inspiring people of all ages to examine their change a little more carefully. Coin grading services have played a huge role in establishing the true worth of these quarters. A 1994 Washington quarter in perfect mint state with an error or variation can receive a top grade and certification, which dramatically increases its value. Collectors place immense trust in these certifications, knowing that a high grade means exceptional quality and rarity. The excitement doesn't stop there. Coin shows, conventions, and online collector forums buzz with stories of newly discovered 1994 quarter varieties. From dramatic off-center strikes to light planchet weights, each find adds fuel to the collector's fire, further validating the idea that this year's quarter is far more than just spare change. The journey of the 1994 quarter is a reminder that sometimes, it's the seemingly ordinary things in life that hold the greatest secrets. Behind its simple silver-colored surface lies a world of possibilities, opportunities for discovery, history, and even wealth. As more people become aware of its potential, fewer of these rare examples remain hidden. The number of high-grade or error-struck 1,994 quarters is small and continues to shrink, making them even more sought after with each passing year. So, the next time you hold a quarter dated 1994, take a moment to look closer. Examine its edges, its weight, its surface, and the fine details of Washington's face. Because what you might be holding is not just a coin, but a hidden gem waiting to be uncovered. And if you happen to stumble upon one of those rare, high-grade, or error-filled 1994 Washington quarters in pristine condition, know that you could be holding something far more valuable than you ever imagined. In a remarkable case, one of these rare 1994 quarters was sold at a prestigious coin auction for an astounding total of $56,000.